now, I mean, I can speak for myself. I have 50,000 people just on Instagram that follow me, and I get comments all the time. And sometimes those comments, even though you're not supposed to read them, but I do, sometimes those comments get to a little bit, right? And I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's how we are with social media as a whole, where if you're scrolling, whether you have 50,000 followers or 5,000 followers, that's a lot of people, dude. It's a
It's a lot.
lot of people.
It's a lot of constant influx of information and opinions and
Yeah.
with filters, and people really are showing the highlight reel. You don't always see
Mm-mm.
reality. I don't
That's right.
always. I mean, like, you pretty much never see reality, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge issue. Interesting you should say that, because to also talk about generations, and
Mm.
bridging the generation gap in my speaking work. I'm actually flying out to Seattle in March to do a whole keynote about bridging the generation gap.
Cool.
And I see this huge, huge shift with my stepchildren in their, early 20s. One's a teenager. Like, they don't have the same social abilities in person.
Mm.
Their ability to communicate in person is way, way different. And I'm always harping on them
Of course.
as
Yeah.
it was huge on communication. I'm always like, if you can master this, if you can get good at this, if you're even just like 10% better than your peers, you're going to be light years ahead of them in the
For
long
sure.
run.
For
Because
sure.
this ability is it's deteriorating, because what they see is always the highlights. They're
That's right.
immersed in it. We didn't have social media when we were growing up. So it's a completely different perspective of the world as a whole. I remember
Yeah.
one time, our middle boy was like, "Oh, I don't wanna go on a cruise. I've seen what that's like. I already know I wouldn't like it." And I'm like, "Know that you don't like something because you saw somebody else's one-time perspective on it."